What's up guys, it is I, once again, Mr.GAMER 990, and today guys, I want to share with you all my top 5 most anticipated games from the years 2017 and 2018, the games I'm most excited for, and it was very hard to put this list together as there are so many games I'm excited for, but these are the games I'm most looking forward to from the years 2017 to the year 2018, and here's how the list goes. At number 5 we have System Shock, the remake. It's a 2018 remake of the game of the same name from 1994, a science fiction action-adventure game by Irrational Games, the same company that made the BioShock series, and you guys know how much I love the BioShock series, as is made evident in the Let's Play series BioShock 1 and 2. I love their game so much, and so to have the honor to play the game, which was its predecessor, the spiritual predecessor to BioShock, it's going to be so amazing, especially considering that the story is shot for shot. The company who acquired the rights to System Shock from Irrational Games, I believe their name is Nightshade. They aren't going to change anything from the previous game in terms of having it shot for shot, but they are going to change certain dialogue options as well as certain plot holes present within the story of System Shock, the original game, and I'm so excited to see what they do with the story and how they're able to fix the plot holes present. So I'm really excited for System Shock, the remake. It's going to be so amazing, and considering that I love science fiction action adventure game from a first person point of view, it's going to be something special. At number 4 we have Ubisoft's Far Cry 5. Once again, you guys know how much I love the Far Cry series. While I haven't played Far Cry 1 or 2, I have played Far Cry 3 and 4, both of which I really love, and I especially love Far Cry Primal, which for me is a very underrated gem. I do consider each game to be good in their own unique way, except Far Cry 3 has the superior story, while Far Cry 4 has the best gameplay, and Far Cry Primal has some things which people might overlook, aspects to Far Cry Primal which people don't give enough credit to, though I'm really excited for Far Cry 5 and how Ubisoft handles the story to Far Cry 5, and based on what I read, it's going to be very dark, and it has some dark themes present within the story. Among those dark themes are separatism. Separatism, if you guys don't know, is a segregation of people, groups of people, based on their race, religious beliefs, or gender. The writers behind the story of Far Cry 5 came up with this concept of separatism based on his view on the Cold War, as well as 9/11 and the 2007 to 2009 financial crisis, and how it's affected people's worldview and their ideology. All of that will come into play within Far Cry 5 story as we follow our main protagonist, whoever he or she may be. It might likely be a male protagonist like the previous game. No matter the gender to the main protagonist, we're going to see he or she overcome the odds against this cult, a Christian cult I believe, or as they describe this cult to be a doomsday cult. We're going to see them overcome the odds against them, as this cult is using the movement separatism to separate two groups of people. One group of people I believe to be the Christians, the other who they deem to be the sinners, as present in the poster to Far Cry 5, where this family is sitting in a dinner table with one individual, a man before them has the mark on his back, sinner. So there is that movement of separatism, and how this group are seeing anyone who doesn't share their belief as a sinner or as a non-believer. That story element to Far Cry 5 already makes the game very dark. Ubisoft has confirmed that despite the dark themes and how dark the story will get, it's still going to be a fun, thrilling action-adventure game like the previous games before it. And when it comes to the Far Cry series, I'm a very biased fan. I love their games despite their faults or their cons, and I'm really excited for Far Cry 5. It's going to be so good and I can't wait. At number 3 we have Hideo Kojima Kojima and Kojima Productions' Death Stranding, which is a science fiction open world action game with stars Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, who plays Daryl Dixon, and Mads Mikkelsen, who is a renowned Danish actor, both of who are playing their roles as the main protagonist and main antagonist respectively. I've seen the trailers to Death Stranding, which included Mads Mikkelsen as the main antagonist and Norman Reedus as the silent protagonist, and their presence in this world, which is said to be the world of the dead as opposed to the world of the living. It's a very hard idea to explain to you guys. That's basically how the game is going to be. We're going to be exploring different parts of the world of the living and world of the dead. You can get more info on this topic from Young Ye's channel. He's a really awesome YouTuber who goes more in depth with this idea of the world of the living and the world of the dead and the story that Hideo Kojima is trying to convey to you guys and gals. It looks so interesting, it looks so cool, and one of the trailers actually has Guillermo del Toro, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, who is actually going to work with Hideo Kojima on the Silent Hills sequel or the Silent Hills game before Konami had cancelled the project. I don't know why, but I don't have any hatred for Konami like many people do, though I do find it confusing how they would cancel the game when it's building such a fan base. And the fact that you have Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, and two female stars who are going to be in the game, one of who I presume will be Stephanie Justin, who was quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I believe she will be one of the two female characters in the game. The second one is unknown, though there have been theories of it being Emma Stone, the Emma Stone from La La Land. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'm so excited for Death Stranding. It's going to be so cool, and knowing this is Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions who are producing this game or making it, I'm so excited, I'm so pumped, and you guys know how much of a fanboy I am of Hideo Kojima. He can be a huge troll when it comes to marketing his games and how he plays with his fans, but as a video game creator, he's an absolute genius, and I'm so excited for Death Stranding. It's going to be so amazing, guys. At number 2, we have Naughty Dog's upcoming sequel to The Last of Us, The Last of Us Part 2, and this, guys, is going to be so epic. You guys and gals know, once again, that I love The Last of Us. I love every single one of Naughty Dog's games, from Crash Bandicoot to the Uncharted series. The Uncharted series has remained one of my all-time favorite action-adventure games, and my love for Uncharted started with The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a very special action-adventure survival horror type game, which I really love, and the story for me has always been the main reason why I love The Last of Us so much. Not the survival horror aspect to it or the infected are so unique in their creation, and how the post-apocalyptic world is very much an environmental type of post-apocalyptic world in which the environment hasn't decayed and nature still flourishes. It's also good. The story, however, has always been the constant force behind The Last of Us, especially the relationship between Joel and Ellie. Their relationship has so much heart, so much warmth, and you do see them grow as the story goes on. Eventually, their journey, the journey of Joel and Ellie to reach the Firefly's headquarters, and what happens, which is very tragic, it left people very angry and very upset and very sad, and I can see why. I don't sympathize with the Fireflies the way others do, because honestly, to hell with the Fireflies, I only care about Joel and Ellie and how their story is followed through in The Last of Us Part 2. It's going to be so amazing, guys, and this takes place a few years after the events of The Last of Us, and based on what Joel told Ellie in The Last of Us ending, I won't say what it is, what he said to her will come into play to the story of The Last of Us Part 2 and how she will view Joel very differently. In contrast to how Ellie was in The Last of Us Part 1, she is very cold and very harsh. She's very different from the girl she once was. It will be so interesting to see how Ellie develops more as a character, as will Joel, only we're playing the game this time through Ellie's point of view. We have played her during the winter season of The Last of Us Part 1. This time we get to play her more as the main character to The Last of Us Part 2. And finally, at number 1, we have Rockstar Games' Red Dead 2. I can't say the full name because I'm going to stutter saying the damn name, but I'm really excited for Red Dead 2. I absolutely love the first Red Dead game. It has remained to this day one of my favorite games of all time, among my top 5 list. It's a really epic story of John Marston trying to save his family at the hands of this FBI agent Edgar Ross and his associates, because they're holding him captive until he kills his former outlaw buddies Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela, and his former mentor, friend, and father figure, Dutch. I won't spoil what happened, but the very end of Red Dead 1 is so heartbreaking and just so sad. It really did broke my heart, and what happens to John Marston's family, especially his little boy, Jack. And by the end, I wanted to see more of Jack Marston, because we already saw John Marston's story be told in Red Dead 1. So in the sequel, I wanted to see Jack Marston's story be told in the 1900s, the early 1900s, and how he learns to cope with the death of his parents, John and Abigail Marston. It's very sad and painful for me to say, but the sequel, Red Dead 2, will not be following Jack Marston's story and how he learns to overcome the death of his parents and how he's able to move on as his own man. Instead, Red Dead 2 will be a prequel to Red Dead 1 and how we follow a different protagonist. This main protagonist will have contact with John Marston and Abigail, and we get to see Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela, and of course their ringleader, Dutch. It's unclear who this main protagonist is. All we know is that he's a part of Dutch's gang and how he will have contact with John and Abigail Marston. I'm not exactly sure what there's going to be between those three and what's going to be between the main protagonist, whatever his name is, and Dutch. That's exactly why I'm so excited for Red Dead 2. And Red Dead 2, I personally believe, will be a truly worthy successor to Red Dead 1 if Rockstar Games takes the story to Red Dead 2 seriously, and I believe they will. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys and gals. I really hate Rockstar Games, and by hate I mean a capital hate, because their games are often sexist, racist, homophobic. When it comes to Red Dead 1 and LA Noire, those are two exceptions to all the games they made, which are very sexist, homophobic, racist. I can tolerate certain aspects to games no matter how outlandish they may be. When it comes to these kind of games which are downright racist, sexist, homophobic, and trust me guys, I kid you not, when I owned GTA 4, I threw that damn game in the garbage bin where it belongs, because that game, like Rockstar, they are absolute garbage, just like that damn game is. That being said, I'm so excited for Red Dead 2 and how they're going to give us more strong female characters, and I hope to God they won't add any stereotypes of African American or Native American or any other minority groups, because guys, I can't stand that shit. That kind of shit pisses me off to no end. That's my top 5 list of the games I'm most anticipating, and keep in mind guys, these are my personal most anticipated games of 2017 to 2018. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe if you wish. If you want to see more from me, then please check out my movie, anime, and television channel where I talk about movies, anime, and television, what have you. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios, amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.